Okay, so I have this blog post in regards to Game 2 of the NBA Finals, and I talk a whole lot about the number 11 and what exactly the significance of that 11 meant. I do not know, but I documented a whole bunch of 11 stuff that was going on in Game 2, and the reason I'm making this video is because while I was making this post, some interesting things happened. So I'm going to share with you the 11 symbolism that I noticed in Game 2 and stuff leading up to Game 2. And then I want to just share things that were happening in that night that are just interesting. Once again, showing me these same things over and over and over, all these weird coincidences, if you whatever you want to call them, that happened in my life. So anyway, Game 2 of the NBA Finals was the game when Steve Kerr came back. And remember, Steve Kerr is born on the Jesuit anniversary. Also, in Francis Bacon gematria, he equals 175. And in Jewish gematria, he equals 1,075, a lot like 175. Golden State Warriors, or Golden State in the reverse method equals 175. Pope Francis equals 175, the first Jesuit Pope. I've been covering a whole lot of stuff that is connected to the Jesuits and the Jesuit anniversary. I've also shown how that it's interrelated into this space theme that was going on along with the NBA Finals. We even had the death of John Glenn 175 days before the NBA Finals began. And we also got the death of Eugene Cernan, who was the last guy to walk on the moon. And he died the same day that the Cavaliers lost to the Warriors by 35. You know, Kevin Durant wears number 35. The Warriors won by 35 points, getting their 35th win of the season. The word Catholic equals 35. NASA equals 35. Cernan equals 35. Lots of 35. Even the NBA Finals began 35 weeks after Kevin Durant's birthday. But moving on, so the 11 stuff. Steve Kerr missed 11 games, and then he came back for Game 2. And 11 does have a connection to the Golden State Warriors. The 11th prime number is 31. Oakland equals 31. That's where the Warriors play. Curry equals 31. California is the 31st state. There's some other connections. I can't even remember them all. There's a whole bunch of 31 that are connected to the Golden State Warriors. And I even put in here last year when Anderson Varejao got picked up by the Warriors, it was 31 days after Steve Kerr came back from his injury, and it was also the day that David Blatt got fired. On January 22nd, Golden State equals 122. They scored 122 points that day. And I believe it was even 122 days before David Blatt's birthday when he got fired. But moral of the story, it was the Warriors picked up Anderson Varejao, who was the former Cleveland Cavalier, and they picked him up 31 days after this day, and he played 31 games for the Cavaliers before he was traded to Portland or whatever. And the Warriors picked him up to replace number 31, Festus Ezeli, who got hurt. And Festus Ezeli missed 31 games before he came back. And then on Ezeli's first game back after being hurt, he came back against Portland, which was the original team that the Cavaliers traded Varejao to, and then they dropped him and the Warriors picked him up. Varejao even played his first game with the Warriors 11 games after Ezeli got injured. You know, and I just was talking about 11 to 31, they have this connection. So possibly that's what all the 11 was with Steve Kerr coming back. It was just showing us, you know, a tribute to the Golden State Warriors. Anyway, in the game, Kevin Love scored the 11th point for the Cavaliers, and then Klay Thompson scored the 11th point for the Warriors, and when he did that, he made the score 11 to 11. And of course, Klay Thompson wears number 11. He was the 11th pick in the 2011 draft. Lots of 11 around Klay Thompson. And you wouldn't think much of it in regards to Kevin Love scoring the 11th point. But later in the game, they showed this stat with Kevin Love with 11 points. Then they go on to mention how he's being guarded by Klay Thompson in this game. and that they played Little League baseball together in Oregon. So there's a definite connection. That's the reason why Kevin Love scored 11 points, because number 11, Klay Thompson, was guarding him and whatnot. That's why they showed this stat, then mentioned he was being guarded by Klay Thompson. And they do these little tributes all throughout every single game I've ever watched. When they bring up certain stats, you're supposed to see the pattern, and they say certain things even along with it that just go along with the storyline of what they're trying to show you. So then, at the beginning of the second half, I also noticed that they made sure to let us know that LeBron James got his 11th assist. And it was a pass to Kevin Love, and there was even, when he made the basket, there was even 11 seconds left on the shot clock. Then later in the second half, they showed Steph Curry at the free throw line, and they made sure to show us the stat when he was 11 for 11 on his free throws. And I'm not sure if that says 19 or 10. Interesting if it was 10, because he made his next free throw after this, which would have gave him 11 points. It might not say 10, though, but interesting if it does. I wouldn't doubt if he scored his 11th point after they showed this stat of him being 11 for 11 on free throws. Then Draymond Green got into foul trouble, which was kind of a big deal in the game, or they were trying to pretend to, get people worked up over it. And they showed this stat when he went out, 11 points. There was also a big play where the Warriors missed 2 3-pointers, and they kept getting offensive rebounds, and then it finally got to Klay Thompson to shoot the next 3, and when he made that 3-pointer, it put the Warriors up by 11 points, 75-86. So I think that was all that I noticed in regards to 11. It just seemed like, I think there was other things too. I just didn't take screenshots of them, but there's a lot of just weird things they'd show with stats with 11 in them. Number 11 puts him up by 11 points. He makes the score 11-11. He's the number 11th pick in the 11 draft. This is Steve Kerr's comeback game after missing 11 games. Anyway, I also documented in regards to the scores of Game 1 and Game 2 that they had interesting numbers that I had been talking about in regards to the theme. So in Game 1, the Warriors won 113-91, and space equals 91. The game where Eugene Cernan died, where the Cavaliers lost to the Warriors by 35, the Cavaliers scored 91 points in that game as well. And the 113 is interesting because that's a number that is around NASA. NASA was established on a date numerology of 113 in the year 1958. The NBA Finals began 58 days before the anniversary of NASA. NASA is in its 58th year. Oakland, the Big Way, equals 58 as well, where the Warriors play. Remember the Rockets? Think about Rockets in regards to space. The Rockets beat the Thunder on the 113th day of the year this year. I think they even scored 113 points. Could be wrong on that. But then Steven Adams in the after-game show was wearing the NASA shirt and whatnot. Just pointing out 113, a number significant to NASA. And in Game 2, the score was 132-113. So once again, 113 again. And then 132 is interesting because it ties into the Jesuit stuff that I was talking about. Catholic Church equals 132. Roman Catholic equals 132. England equals 132. United States of America equals 132. There's a whole lot more I could talk about in regards to that. A Cavalier is a follower of King Charles during the English Civil War. But let's move on here. I really just want to show some of these weird things that were going on this night. So while I was typing this up, I got a notification on my phone, and it was someone who commented on this old video, this old rap video that I made. Basically, I just used to make ridiculous stuff. If you can't tell, I used to be a huge fan of the Bloodhound Gang, and I used to do this Don't Funk Up Our Beats contest every year just to kind of make people mad that because so many people think they're so awesome at rap, so I just make ridiculous videos. and I was just like, I had a bear outfit, and I just like made a stupid video of me humping stuff and being a horny bear. But anyway, like, literally, like, this type of stuff always happens. I get weird, just out of nowhere comments on old videos, and they're always, when I look into it, it's always literally coded into exactly what I'm talking about. Even, 8 likes, 4 dislikes, once again, Jesuit. And it was also the 56th day of the year when I put this out. Society of Jesus, a small way equals 56. It was founded in Paris, France, that equals 56. ISIS equals 56. Adolf Hitler, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, president, all equal 56. Royal family equals 56. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the very end of this video. But I noticed that it was a picture of an alien reminding me of space, and it's Roger, right, from American Dad. And this is one of his alter egos, Ricky Spanish. And you've got to be kidding me. I'm 11 minutes and 11 seconds into this video, and I was just going to explain how, look at this video here. I had 11 comments on it, and somehow I randomly looked at it 11 minutes ago is what it said, And then I just was going to, it's just craziness. I look down, I see I'm going to talk about it 11 minutes, 11 seconds into my video that I have 11 comments, and it's supposedly 11 minutes ago, according to YouTube. Also, just before I looked up this, I typed in the Gematrinator 11th prime. And because, 11th prime is 31, I was just seeing if there was a significant thing to it. 11th prime in Gematria equals 152, just like Ricky's Spanish. And he also wrote in here, simply brilliant, thank you, I love Satan, And I thought, that's kind of, maybe Roger says it all the time, but still interesting. I love Satan. I love Satan equals 152. And if you write out 152, it equals 232. Satan in Jewish Gematria equals 232. I also noticed that my video was put out 152 days after the Jesuit anniversary in 2013. And here I am in the very beginning of this post talking about all the 11s in the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals began on the 152nd day of the year this year. So interesting, all these 152s. The title of my music video, or at least how I have it on YouTube, Don't Funk Up Our Beat 6 Horny Bear Trap, equals none other than 152 in Gematria. Talk about coded comments. Whether this person knows they did it or not, pretty interesting. Also, the big way, the title of the song equals 404, which is interesting. I've mentioned this a whole lot of times. Pope Francis arrived in the United States at 4:04 p.m. There's 404 verses in Revelation. Pope Francis in Jewish Gematria equals 404. Prince Charles equals 404. The Chosen One equals 404. King James equals 404. Think about that in regards to basketball. Also in regards to King James, the guy who, has the Bible named after him, the King James Bible of 1611. Pope Francis came to America 404 years after 1611. LeBron James even supposedly born at 4:04 p.m. And I've talked about how his birthday is interesting in regards to the Jesuit anniversary. It's 3 months and 3 days after the 444th anniversary. And he was born in the year 84, so Jesuit equals 84. Jesus equals 444. And 2017 is 33 years after 1984. So just think about that in regards to Jesus supposedly dying on the cross, age 33. Interesting too in regards to Satan, isn't 11, I'm pretty sure 1111 is a number that I've seen people talk about in regards to Satan and whatnot. So 11 and 11, and this guy writes, I love Satan or whatever, and all this stuff seems to be connected to it. Pretty weird. Anyway, 11th prime in gematria also equals 71 the small way. The topic of this song, right? Or what I called the song was Horny Bear Trap. And Horny Bear Trap equals 71. 11th prime equals 71. Catholic equals 71. What this person commented was simply brilliant. Thank you, I love Satan. That also equals 145 in gematria. And Catholic in the reverse method equals 145. And of course, like I said, it's the alien. It's Roger from American Dad. American Dad equals 71 in reduced reverse gematria. I also noted that Horny Bear equals 666 in Jewish gematria. You know, I don't see a whole lot of 666s in Jewish gematria, but Horny Bear is one. So I saw all this and I thought, all right, I'm going to look up American Dad, possibly, you know. I've documented tons of times in regards to Family Guy, South Park, and The Simpsons, and how they're connected to media stories, my own life, and everything else. And I looked up American Dad, and it says they have 224 episodes currently. Well, that's interesting because American Dad in the reverse method equals 224. If you put a "the" in front of Society of Jesus, the Society of Jesus equals 224. Since there was so much 152 stuff, I looked up the 152nd episode of American Dad, and it just so happened to be called The Flippity Flop. Let's see if I can pull it up here. And if you've been following since the beginning of this year, everything has been about flipping the script and whatnot, the reverse stuff. And this episode is called The Flippity Flop. And it's funny because in the beginning of the season, I thought that the Cavaliers were going to win the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors, and it was the complete opposite. And last year I was thinking the complete opposite too. You know, you also had like Derek Fisher, the former Los Angeles Laker, and also the Oklahoma City Thunder player who played against LeBron James when LeBron James beat Kevin Durant and the Thunder. And then, they flipped the script, and he flipped his car or whatever, and during the NBA Finals as well. And there's a huge Los Angeles Laker thing that's connected in regards to the Golden State Warriors and whatnot. Even like Los Angeles Lakers equals 175, just like Golden State in the reverse method. And then, of course, you had Matt Barnes, the former Los Angeles Laker as well, who just signed with the Golden State Warriors, I believe on March 2nd, 3-2. And then 3 months, 2 days later, Derek Fisher flips his car, and he has Matt Barnes' ex-wife in the car with him, because they had a big old feud. Anyway, this episode, The Flippity Flop, I noticed too, so it's the 152nd episode, and it came out on the 132nd day of the year. Remember, Catholic Church equals 132. Roman Catholic equals 132. The alien on the show, his name is Roger Smith. That also equals 132. The only episode that I could find of Roger, his alter ego being Ricky Spanish, was the 132nd episode of American Dad. What are the odds, 132nd. Roger Smith equals 132. Also, it came out on May 6th. 5/6, right? Society of Jesus equals 56. I put this video out on the 56th day of the year. Some pretty strange comments. And I get lots of these on old videos at just weird times, and it always fits. So anyway, I was also talking, I was being shown all this priest stuff as well. And I was thinking about fathers, and the NBA Finals could have possibly went until Father's Day, which would have been Game 7. I don't know what the deal is with fathers, but there's something significant in regards to fathers. You even have Lonzo Ball's dad, in the news constantly, at least in sports and whatnot. There's something to do with fathers. It's not connected to Father's Day, or possibly it is maybe for next year or something else. But definitely something going on with fathers. And think about it, American Dad, right? The father of America. Who is that? Is that George Washington? Donald Trump? I mean, I don't know. But George Washington equals 187 in Gematria, just like Society of Jesus the reverse way. Washington, D.C. equals 187. Donald Trump and Pope Francis, their birthdays are 187 days apart. Trump also had his Republican National Convention in Cleveland, where the Cavaliers play, and it was 187 days before he took office. Trump also attended a Jesuit college, Fordham College. You know, there's definitely something going on. So I also documented, in this night then, I wrote, seriously, my daughter is playing games on the computer and hasn't said anything to me for a while. And I'm on the laptop in the same room because, whatever. I had the computer upstairs at the time, and then, whatever. It was in the bedroom, and she would play games and then go to bed or whatever. And so, whatever. She's sitting there on the computer, hasn't said anything to me for a while, and then she randomly, as I'm making this post, asked me, what does 15 and 2 mean? And I said, well, what do you mean? And she pointed to the score. She was playing on nickjr.com, looks like Paw Patrol game, and her score was 152. She asked me what 15 and 2 was. 152. And I look at this comment, and I'm talking about all these 152 stuff. Just some weird stuff. Her mom's name in Gematria also equals 152. Funny, too. Paw Patrol in Gematria equals 122, just like Golden State, just like Pope Francis. I can't believe I never caught that before. I just paused the video and looked that up really quick. It's funny. I also noticed season 11 of American Dad. You know, this whole post started because of the number 11. Season 11 only aired 3 episodes, which is pretty weird. You know, all the other ones have like at least over 10. And season 11 only had 3 episodes, and the third one just so happened to be the 175th episode overall. NASA equals 175 and Satanic. Pope Francis equals 175. Just the word Pope equals 175. Golden State equals 175. It was also the last episode to air on Fox. And think about Fox. F, the 6th letter, O breaks down to 6, X breaks down to 6. A lot like 666. This is kind of random in here, but I also put in here that the word satanic and satanic gematria equals 312, which is a number I've talked about. You know, Rihanna's birthday was 3 months, 12 days before game 1. It's this big number in regards to the Jesuits, and I also figured out a connection to the angel Michael, and I've been talking about the angel Gabriel. But anyway, I'm not going to re-explain that, but I was thinking in regards to LeBron James and his connection to the Jesuits, and his birthday is on November 30th, which can be written 30/12, which is a lot like 312 as well. And earlier in the video, I mentioned, you know, he was born in 84, which was the 444th anniversary of the Jesuits. Jesus equals 444. So does Masonic, Cross, Messiah, Gospel, Joshua, Yeshua. Whole bunch of other interesting, you know, words in regards to 444. But if you recall, when Pope Francis came to the United States and he went to Philadelphia, he gave a speech on Abe Lincoln's Gettysburg Address lectern. And he started that speech at exactly 4:44. And also think about all of the 444 advertisements they've been doing with the Jay-Z stuff, 444. And, you know, Philadelphia is really important, too, in regards to basketball. The original capital of the country, Jordan, was Philadelphia, and it was destroyed by earthquakes in the year 106 AD. Michael Jordan first retired on October 6, 10/6. Gregorian and Julian calendar, 923 is the same as October 6th, and that was the big day of Pope Francis coming to the United States. Lots of stuff in regards to it. That's where the Warriors are originally from. Anyway, in regards to this Gettysburg Address lectern thing, though, the Gettysburg Address was given on 11/19/1863, which would have been King Charles I's 263rd birthday. And, of course, a cavalier, a follower of King Charles during the English Civil War. But 263 is the 56th prime number. Society of Jesus, Royal Family. I've been talking about this number for a long time. Even if you go clear back, I was talking about how there was a media story that was the principal got shot in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and it was my aunt's brother, who I'm not related to. And I'm telling you, I was supposed to see that story. His name equaled 56. My aunt's name equaled 56. Then we got, like 2 weeks later, or a month and a half later, we got the Paris attack by ISIS, and Paris, France equals 56. ISIS equals 56. Bunch of stuff in regards to Kanye West. Kanye equals 56. Kim Kardashian 56. Nori equals 56. Their kid. I don't know. Just so much stuff. I've mentioned this number a lot of times connected to, negative things and whatnot. And earlier I pointed out all this stuff. President, ISIS, Osama bin Laden, Adolf Hitler, Paris, France. All have this connection to 56. Remember in 9/11 Flight 175, reminding us of Golden State and Pope Francis, Flight 175 had 56 passengers. It struck the building exactly 56 minutes after takeoff. Also, I also noted in here, Abe Lincoln died age 56, and he died in the month of April. April equals 56. And there was a lot of the number 43 around Abraham Lincoln's Civil War equals 43. He was born on the 43rd day of the year. Died 4 years, 3... Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote this wrong in here. He died exactly 4 years, 3 days after the Civil War began. He also became president on March 4th, which in most parts of the world, they write the date as 4/3. The Civil War came to an end on 5/9. If you write out 43 as words, it equals 59, just like slave, just like Negro, just like blues. Motown Records came out in 59. Rasta equals 59. Cotton Picker equals 59. I mean, the list just goes on, Eli Whitney, the guy who invented the cotton gin, even died age 59. And tons of other stuff in, American history in regards to slavery. John Brown, the Harper's Ferry raid guy, died age 59 on 5/9 in the year 59 or something like that. Just ridiculous stuff. But anyway, another thing I noticed in regards to 43 and why it's important to all of the Jesuit coding is because 43, or the 43rd prime number, is 191. If you write out Society of Jesus, it equals 191. And a lot of people believe that the Jesuits actually murdered Lincoln. So it makes a whole lot more sense why there was so much 43 around Abraham Lincoln, other than just Civil War equals 43. It has this connection to the Jesuits as well. But I'm running out of time here. The last thing I wanted to point out that I put in this post is that in regards to the 444 and Masonic and Jesus, in Roman numerals, if you write out 444, in the reverse way, if you did it backwards, it would be 666, right? VI, VI, VI instead of IV, IV, IV. And if you write out VI, VI, VI and use it in gematria, it equals 93 like Saturn. And also, look at Roman numerals equal 187, just like Society of Jesus the reverse way. Roman numerals equal 187 in the reverse method. So, gonna end it here. Like I said, just wanted to point out some of these 11s in game 2 and show you all of these happenings and this coded weird comments on my old videos and whatnot. So have a good one.